In this video, you're going to learn 3 ways to accompany a singer on guitar. Now, I see people do this quite often and they use the same old techniques, open chords, bar chords, strumming, maybe a little bit of picking. Now, while all of this can work, it doesn't make for a very exciting, engaging, captivating performance or arrangement. So what we're going to do today is look at ways that you can back a singer on a single guitar and make it sound really, really cool with lots of dynamics. Hi, this is Simon Candy from Acoustic Guitar Lessons Online.net, and in this lesson you're going to learn 3 approaches to backing a singer on a single guitar, making it very interesting and dynamic all the way through. Now we're going to use a very cool tune called James Infirmary, which is an 8-bar blues, to demonstrate each approach. The first approach is going to be rhythm fills. So this is where you play riffs and fills of various sorts in between the vocal phrases of a song, or in between the chords of a song, but because we're backing a singer here, particularly in between the phrases of a vocal to create really nice arrangement. We'll also look at walking bass, which can really bring momentum to your arrangement when backing a singer also, and as well as that, chords, but not just your standard open and bar chords, sort of different types of chords that can create a nice big full sound to your arrangement. So let's get to it. Just before we get into our video today, I want to make the point that each one of these approaches is not meant to necessarily form a full arrangement. I could connect them together in a particular way and create an arrangement from them for sure. All these approaches can exist in a single arrangement, but I'm not presenting it like that. Okay, so they're just snapshots of how you could back a singer. And the idea is that you want to build your dynamic range. You want to be able to play very soft, very loud, but it's not just about volume, it's about approaches. There is no specific order here. They're not meant to connect together to create an overall arrangement, although you could do that. You'd have to probably, shape some things in a particular way for that to work, but you can certainly do it. But each of these is a single little snapshot of one way you could approach backing a singer on guitar. It's not meant that one approach is used for the whole arrangement. You want to mix up things. You want to have a lot in your bag of tricks, if you like, that you can bring to the context of a single singer, just a vocalist, single vocal with a single guitar. That's what we're about today. Now, as I said, the tune is James Infirmary. So just let's have a look at the basic structure of the tune first before we get into these approaches. So it's an 8-bar blues, A minor blues. It's, there's a few different ways that you could interpret this, or different chordal arrangements you might see. For me, I'm using A minor to E7 in the first bar, sharing a bar there, to A minor for a bar. Then into the third bar, A minor, comes the F chord to C and E7. That's the first 4 bars of the tune. Then we're back to the A minor, E7 again, A minor. This time, halfway through that bar, we can get a G chord, which leads to our F, our E7, and then in the last bar, A minor, E7. Okay, that's our basic arrangement. I'll just play it through. E7, A minor, A minor, F, C, E7, A minor, E7, A minor, and G. Then we get the F to E7, A minor, E7, and then you're back to the start again. Okay, so that's the basic arrangement. That's what we're going to be using to demonstrate each approach. Rhythm fills. So it's beyond the scope of this video to go deep into this, but you can click the link in the top right corner of this video and it will take you through to another video on the channel that does go deep into rhythm fills, and you can learn all about it there. But the basic concept is that we're filling the space, the pockets if you like, between the vocal phrases when backing a singer. So they've got their vocal that's happening on the first bar, and then there's a break from the vocal. So I can do a little fill there. The vocal is like the melody, and then I do a little fill like that. These are just based off the pentatonic scale. We could do anything. So you've got the melody, yeah, just very simple little fills, little lines in between. The melody comes back in at that point. We've got the F, melody, break. So a very simple little thing, a little embellishment on the C, a little sixth harmony shape to outline the E7 at that point. I think in my arrangement I might have gone, so you've got the melody, just a little run up, sort of sixths again. But again, don't get caught up on the detail of the fill, just the basic concept. In the second part of the returns to the melody, singing, and then a fill, little fill there, pentatonic based bluesy fill, singing, and break. Okay, little run there. And then it goes into the second chorus. So basically it's more or less a bar on a bar off with the singing. So you got like the singing, I won't sing, you don't want to hear me sing, but you got the singing here, and then you got a break. Fill, singing, break, sing, break, sing, break. Okay, so there's lots of little things you can do. You just want to make sure you fill the gap in between the vocal. You're not necessarily going to do that all the way through the arrangement, but you might do it in the second chorus of an arrangement, for example, to kind of build on what you've done up until that point in the tune. So walking bass, you guessed it, I've got a video on walking bass on the channel, so to go deeper into this you can check that out. I'll link also to that lesson or video in the top right corner of this one. There's lots of ways you can create walking bass lines, but the simplest way is to play the root notes of the chord. Just get this sort of the scaffolding of the progression by sort of getting the root notes sorted. So our chord progression A minor, so A, then there's an E chord, so E root note, back to the A. And then we've got the A again, then F, we've got a C, and we've got an E. Then we're back to the A, E, to the A, to the G, to the F, to the E, and to the A, and the E. Very simple, right? Just playing root notes of the chords in the progression. Now those root notes are falling on the first and third beats for the most part here, because we've got 2 bars per chord. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's a full bar. 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Right? So to fill out, to create the walking bass line, you want to approach the upcoming root note by a half step below or half step above that root note, and then resolve into it. So the walking bass, well, it's all walking bass, but the approach tones, if you like, or neighbor tones are on beats 2 and 4 typically. If I have in my first 2 bars 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I could go 1, 2, 3. So 1, one half step, 1 fret below the root of the E, and then 1 half step above the root of the A going into the second bar. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so you're sort of in and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then this is A for a whole bar. So we've got more time on the A. So I approach the 5th of the chord, and then I approach the root of the chord. So we've got a full bar on A there. So what do we do when we've got a full bar? We approach different chord tones by a half step below or above, 1 fret, within that chord at the time. So I've gone into A minor, 1, then I'm going to approach the 5th of the chord by a half step below, get to the 5th on the 3rd beat, then a half step above the root. And that gets me to the 1 of the next chord, which also happens to be A minor. So you've got 1, this is from the first bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, full bar of A here, 1, 2, 3, 4, then you've got the A minor here. So here we're not going to use a half step. We could, but I'm using a scale tone there. So between the A and the F chord, there's a scale tone G, it's in the key of A minor, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's a little bit different there. 1 in terms of the approach. 1, 2, 3, and then half step into the C, and then I don't always have to be changing every note. So there, I just stay on my C for the 2 beats. Then the E, half step below the A, and then on the A here, I go up, just a little scale run there to fill out the bar. So there's some scale runs coming in here too. That's another approach to walking bass, scale runs. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, staying on root notes there. So just sort of stabilizing there a little bit. And then on the F, into the 3rd of the E, open E, and the A to the E, half step approaches there again. So mostly the neighbor approach, but a little bit of scales going on there as well. Okay, but the basic concept is the root notes, they're going to fall where they fall, but typically on beats 1 and 3, and then on beats 2 and 4, you fill the gap with either the neighbor tone or scale tone. If you've got a whole bar, then you can do the same approach, but just pick another chord tone to target within the chord at the time. And so when we put that together, down to F, staying on C, approaching A scale run, A, G, F, and E, and A. Now you might have noticed too, when I played in my arrangement, you can then put in the chord, little chord stabs there, whatever the chord is at the time. So F, C, little chords. Oops. That type of thing. So chords. So there's many things you could do with chords, of course. It's endless. But my idea here was thinking of, at a various point within the arrangement, building it to a bit of a climax, perhaps. So I wanted big sounding chords here. So I was starting with like an A minor 7, which is a very nice sort of what I call like a jazz shape. A lot of people refer to as jazzy shapes. A minor 7. I got an E9 here, but for a bit of a bigger sound, I'm putting the 5th in the bass. Okay, because that's the sound I'm after. I want quite a dense sound here for my arrangement. So I've got the A minor, and the root of the A leads nicely to the B that is now in the bass of the E9 chord. And then this is a little walk up. It's similar to our walking bass, but using fuller chords. So I've got that that A minor 7, E9 with the B in the bass. This is a first inversion A minor 7 chord there, back to the E to get back down to the A minor. So my first 2 bars, E, then walk up. Big sound, okay? Then I'm back on that A minor to the F, just an open bar chord, C open chord, E open chord. Now with the C open chord, same sort of approach that I did for the same reason with the E9 to include the fifth in the bass, I do the same with the C. This gives a bit of a bigger sound than just the C with the root. Okay, so I've gone A minor, F, C with G in the bass, and a nice big open E7 chord. And then from there, went back to the A minor, to the E9 again, A minor to the G, the E, standard from here, E7, A minor, and this nice E7 chord. That's the basic arrangement there. E9, walk up, F to C, E, A minor, E, A minor to G, to F, and E, and A minor, and C, and E7, sorry. Okay, so if you want to check out sort of these types of chords, I've got a video that is a jazz blues, and I show you how to build a jazz blues using similar types of chord shapes. So if you like that sort of sound and you want to check out some of those chord shapes like that, then click the link. I'll link to that video as well. If you like this video, you'll love this ebook complete with video examples called 10 melodic fingerpicking patterns you can learn in 10 minutes or less. Do you struggle to make the fingerpicking patterns you learn on guitar sound like music? Perhaps it's because you believe in one or more of these fingerpicking pattern myths. 1. You need to know a lot of patterns to have your fingerpicking sound musical. 2. Only advanced fingerpicking patterns sound musical. Easy patterns are too basic to sound any good. Or 3. There is a magic pattern out there somewhere that once found will finally have your fingerpicking sound the way you want it to. None of these myths are true. This is because fingerpicking patterns alone are not musical. They're technical. It's what you do with the patterns that will determine how musical they sound. In this ebook, you learn how to make the most boring fingerpicking patterns sound amazing instantly. Plus, the simple trick to make advanced fingerpicking patterns easier to play, and the thumb and one finger trick that's so simple and will have your fingerpicking sounding pro in no time. Click the link in the description below this video and download your free ebook complete with video examples, 10 melodic fingerpicking patterns you can learn in 10 minutes or less. You'll have it in your inbox within minutes. Let me know in the comments section what acoustic guitar topics you'd like to see covered in future videos. I love to hear from you. I love reading your comments, seeing what you have to say. Do you have ways you like to accompany a singer on guitar? There are many, many ways in addition to what we've covered today, so let us know. If you like this video, then hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the all-important notification bell button. That way YouTube can tell you when I've released a new video. This is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net. Once again, thank you so much for being here. I really, really do appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.